Hi, my name is Samantha Dowd, and I want to thank you for attending this webinar on comparing your school's student tracker data to the annual high school benchmark report. If you have any questions during this presentation, I will have a slide up at the end. I'll give you information on how to contact us, as well as going over some question and answers for you. Today, I'm going to briefly review the National Student Clearinghouse's purposes and values, and then we'll jump into the understanding of the benchmark reports and comparing them to your reports. The National Student Clearinghouse was created in 1993. with the purpose of being the central repository for enrollment reporting for currently enrolled students and meet financial aid reporting requirements. This centralized reporting reduces the cases of technical defaults on student loans and reduces the administrative burden on institutions. The creation of the Clearinghouse also assisted institutions in meeting compliance for federal aid reporting. Since its founding, the Clearinghouse has fulfilled its purpose and has also been a benefit to schools through its trusted and secure systems and processes, its extensive data coverage and usage, and by providing innovative solutions. We at the Clearinghouse are committed to the privacy and the protection of your records, your students' and alumni records, and all the records of our customers. We operate under the adherence of FERPA and have internal processes in place to ensure each and every employee at the Clearinghouse and our processes are meeting our commitment to safety and policy and privacy. Clearinghouse data represents approximately 98% of all students in public and private U.S. institutions. That makes up about 92% of four-year degrees in the U.S., giving you national coverage. This type of national coverage means complete and accurate enrollment reporting, decreases manual in-house enrollment, and degree verifications performed by your staff. The Clearinghouse has a history of providing you with innovative solutions. Each and every one of our services that were created at the National Student Clearinghouse is in the spirit of innovation, with the goal of providing a more efficient solution for you and your everyday issues and challenges you face. In 2010, the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center was created. The Research Center publishes and provides reports on various topics regarding student outcomes in higher education institutions for states, high school districts, and educational organizations that are available for the public throughout the year. In 2012, the Research Center created the first annual high school benchmarks report. This was a response to high schools wishing to be able to compare their outcomes to similar schools. In 2016, this past October, the Research Center released the fourth annual high school benchmark report. This report provides college enrollment, persistence, and completion outcomes for public, non-charter, public, charter, and private high school graduates. So let's take a closer look at what the benchmark report offers. For students of public, non-charter high schools, all outcomes are reported in 7 categories. These categories are defined by the aggregate characteristics for each high school, not by characteristics of individual students, and they are as follows. Low-income schools with a high poverty, higher income schools with low poverty, low minority and high minority schools, urban, suburban, and rural. There's two important notes to be mindful of here, though. One, the sample sizes of charter schools and private schools are relatively smaller than those of the public non-charter schools, as well as these outcomes are based on StudentTracker participants. All of these categories can be found in these outcomes. The questions that will be answered are the students that participated in all institutions, a 2- or 4-year institution, an in-state or out-of-state, and a public or private. You're going to find out if the students enrolled for all of these questions the first fall after they graduated, anytime within the first year, anytime within the first 2 years, as well as persistence from year 1 to year 2, and the college completion rate for 6 years after their high school graduation. Today we're going to be reviewing a sample report of a high school that's characterized as a public, non-charter, low-income, high-minority, rural school, and go over and how to compare that report to the benchmarks report. Due to limited time and for this demonstration, we will be reviewing this institution. It'll be the questions that we will be looking at will be for public versus private institutions, answering those questions. If you're not familiar with how to retrieve the benchmark report, I can provide you with a separate quick tutorial at the end if needed. This slide indicates the enrollment rates for students entering college the first fall after they graduated high school. You will notice on all of the following benchmark slides that it will provide you outcomes for low-income schools and answering all the questions that you see on the bottom for the public and private, 2-year and 4-year, in-state and out-of-state. As I mentioned, we're going to be reviewing the public versus private schools today in the low-income category. You'll want to note that the class we are reviewing are for the 2014 and 2015 graduating class, high school graduating classes. Adding the total percentages for public and private will give you the total number to compare for your sample report. We can see that in 2014, the enrollment rate for high school graduates that entered post-secondary institution the fall after they graduated was 56% and 54% in 2015. On your report, which is what this one will look like, answering that same question, you'll want to make sure that you are reviewing the correct years as well so that they match up. So now you can see that we're going to be looking at the 2014 and the 2015 classes. We can see that for 2014, this report indicates for all institutions, they had 44% of their graduates enter college the fall after they graduated from high school, and 42% in the fall after the 2015 graduating class. Going back to the benchmark report, again, we're still looking at low-income schools. The next question is the percentage of students that enrolled any time within the first year after they graduated high school. We're now looking at the classes of 2013 and 2014 to get this information. In 2013, 60% of students entered into a post-secondary institution anytime within the first year after they graduated, and 61% in 2014. Going back to the sample report, that would look like your report. Again, you're going to make sure you want to look at those exact same years that we reviewed on the benchmark report, your 2013 and 2014 classes. The next question that we're looking at on the benchmark report is the enrollment rates for the enrollment rates for the first 2 years after high school graduation. So now we're looking at the 2012 and 2013 graduating classes in the public and private institutions. This is the percentage of students that enrolled any time within the first 2 years after they graduated high school. Again, on your report, we want to make sure we're looking at the exact same graduating classes, the 2012 and 2013. As we continue to review this, I can't stress enough, as you've seen, that you need to be checking and reviewing your specific graduating classes, the same cohort as we are showing in the benchmark report. This will give you a clearer understanding of how to assess your schools versus the national average schools and the classifications that you want. As we move to the persistence report, you can see that for the 2013 class, the percentage of students that persisted from freshman year to sophomore year is 79%. I want to clarify that this number is relevant to the total percentage of students that enrolled in a post-secondary institution anytime within that first year of graduation. And if you remember, if we go back to the 2013, that would have been 60% of students that enrolled. So out of that 60%, we have 79% that persisted to the second year. On your report, you'll make sure you want to look at the same 2013 class. And this number indicates that there's 78% of their students persisted from year 1 to year 2. They originally started with 43% that started into a post-secondary institution in 2013. For the 6-month completion report, we can see that 24% of the 2009 class has received some type of degree, being either a 2-year or 4-year. For consistency, we stop counting degrees earned after they've received their first degree. On the sample report, looking at the class of 2009, we can see that 14% have received a degree within the 6-year completion rate. Before we continue, I would like to share what the spreadsheet looks like for the student benchmark report. As you can see at the top, they have the titles. For Group 1, that was the low-income schools. Those were the reports and the graphs that I was showing you. Group 2 is higher income schools. 3 is high minority. 4 is low minority. 5 is urban schools, suburban schools, and 7 is rural schools. This allows you to pick the type of setting that you would like to compare your schools to on multiple categories. So just some quick reminders. I want to make sure, again, as I said, I can't stress enough that you're comparing the same years from your reports as the ones on the benchmark report. The outcomes are based on current active StudentTracker high schools that participate across the nation. And the sample sizes for the charter and the private high schools are relatively smaller than those of the public non-charter high schools. For more information or questions about this webinar, please don't hesitate to email us at stservices@studentclearinghouse.org, or you can check out more information at our website at studenttracker.org, or you can view the Student Tracker for High School Benchmarks report or any other reports that our Research Center releases at nscresearchcenter.org. And there are also more training resources at our clearinghouse.academy.org.